Oh, so they're not even really Canadians. They're Nazis. So you don't have to hear anything they say. They don't even belong here. Maybe we'll intern them or expel them. Trudeau state broadcasters have been repeating these lies over and over and over again for maximum effect. Pravda parroting Brezhnev. That's what they do. What's striking, however, is that the media in our country claim to be independent, but they've been doing the very same thing. Watch.
Some of the organizers of this protest, which, as I mentioned, started more than a week ago, they do want to overthrow the government.
Canadian officials calling the situation a, quote, nationwide insurrection.
The police chief says COVID protests are a, quote, nationwide insurrection driven by madness.
A nationwide insurrection driven by madness.
And just think of the language. I know it sounds familiar to you, right? A threat to democracy, an insurrection, sedition.
The police say that they are under-resourced and they are overwhelmed. They have said that this city is under siege.
It's not just truckers. There's a lot of, I've heard there's QAnon supporters in the crowd.
Residents that I have spoken to who say they feel terrorized, intimidated.
It's a cult.
There are QAnon supporters in the crowd. It's a cult. They're Nazis and they're crazy. Insurrectionists on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. Imagine. Now, they're using these smears because typically they work. Just dismiss these people. Don't listen to them. They didn't go to college. But what Justin Trudeau apparently didn't count on is that a handful of independent journalists are committing journalism inside Canada. And a free press works. That's why we have it, or did. So instead of repeating state-mandated talking points like their journalists do and the morons in our press corps do, these independent reporters have been broadcasting hours-long interviews with the truckers themselves, in their cabs, totally unfiltered, so you can decide what you think. You can actually make your own judgment about reality. So you watch these streams for just a few minutes and you realize that these truckers, whatever their faults may be, are far less odious and much harder working than the journalists and the politicians who call them Nazis. Here's one 24-year-old protester who saved up and bought his own truck. He's an owner-operator now. He's losing hundreds of dollars every day because he's no longer working, but he says it's worth it because he's more concerned about human rights than about his own paycheck. You decide.
I agree with freedom of choice. So people should be, if you want to wear a diaper over your face, hey, go ahead, you know. You can wear a face diaper if you want, but why should I, because of your fear, I got to wear that garbage on my face, you know. Been doing that for 2 years. They said 2 weeks, but it's turned into 2 years, so enough is enough.
Yeah, the voice of the working man there. You know how we know he's a Nazi? Because he used the word freedom. Now, that footage, of course, was not shot by the CBC, which is Canadian state media, the most dishonest of all. It was from a live stream on the YouTube channel Zot. It was filmed just after midnight this morning. Zot is run by a man you've never heard of called Matt Garcia. Garcia is one of a handful of independent YouTube channel operators who are doing what legacy media refuses to do anywhere, ever, anymore. Garcia actually talks to people he reports. He's not paid to do this. He's doing it because nobody else will do it. You should watch it. It's compelling because you can hear people speak and you can decide what you think about what they have to say. Here's another protester that Garcia spoke to in the streets of Ottawa. This man says that Justin Trudeau's authoritarian behavior reminds him of the Ayatollahs in the country he left, which is Iran. Watch.
I'm from Iran, and I am proud to be between the freedom-loving Canadian patriots.
Do you live in Ottawa?
No, I came here from Toronto.
Oh, yeah?
I did a speech on the stage, and I lost my freedom once in Iran by the Ayatollahs, by the mullahs. I don't want to lose my freedom again in Canada.
So what's the answer to him? Is he in QAnon? Is he a Nazi? Is he a white supremacist? Canada's leaders have no response whatsoever. They just accuse all these people of bigotry and then they turn away. The protesters are so immoral, we have no obligation to listen to them, because democracy. We all lose when they do that, because actually the truckers do have something to say. And some of them are pretty articulate. Some of them are even eloquent about what they want. So as a public service, we thought you might like to hear it. Here it is.
There's nothing extreme about wanting people to be able to make their own decisions in their home that is the best decision for their families. There's nothing extreme about that.
No, that's not extreme.